I would like to welcome you all to join me on the July the 13th and 14th for a psychic surgery transformational workshop with myself, Dale Tobin. Are you ready to elevate your spiritual journey with psychic surgery? Some of the practice will include sending treatments forwards and backwards in time alongside working with trauma, ancestral balancing and meeting your psychic surgery team of ancestors, how to read energy and learn the reading skills of a session, psychic surgery treatments on others, how to learn the grounding skills of being an energy healer. This workshop is available for practitioners, or even if you're not a practitioner and just want to learn to heal yourself with new techniques. To book your space, head over to daletobin.com. You can also pay in 2 parts. And if you wish to try out psychic surgery sessions, I am offering a discount on sessions leading up to the workshop, so you can experience it first for yourself. I look forward to seeing you on the unique journey. Thank you.
Announcement: we are open to have private sessions. I am opening new dates on my schedule. We have a brand new automated booking system. No more long waits for confirming the booking. That's right, everyone. Automated booking system is here. Go to andrewbartzis.com and look forward to seeing you in a private session.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Talking Stick Show. So on this show today, we're going to be talking about hardening our reality in a world gone completely batshit crazy and mad. So I'd firstly like to welcome to co-hosts. We have the Laura Massey. Hello, Laura.
Hi, Dale. Hi, Amy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Brian, who's just joined the the chat.
The cat.
Yes. Well, he might have joined a cat somewhere. I don't know.
The chatty cat.
Yes.
And we'd like to welcome the one and only Amy Kruzic to the show.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, Amy.
And how are you this week, Amy?
Yeah, doing good this week. Busy.
Busy.
You know, busy. Usually my weeks aren't like this, but it's like, oh my goodness. It's all good stuff, but
So is it
good.
slightly chaotic, Amy? Because that is sort of what we're talking about a bit here, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like time. I have to know I have to go here, leave here, do that, And some of my days are I have nothing, and then some days are compact. Do you have that too, where it's like this day is going to be a long day for me? Yeah.
It's a strange one. Like for me lately, I was saying this to Laura and Andrew earlier, was everything seems to be going really super quick at the moment for me. Like there never seemed enough time in the day to do it.
Yeah.
Then when the day finishes, nighttime, straight away it's morning again. You're like,
Yes.
I don't know why, but lately it's just days don't feel like the 24 hours at all.
Yeah.
But didn't Andrew say time has speeded up? We'll ask him. He'll be on in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said time has speeded up. And with that comes all the chaos of the world.
Yes.
Doesn't it? Elections. Oh, I don't know. Solar flares, full moon, solstice. It's all happening. Election in the UK and in the US.
Yep.
It's all happening and a lot's going on. And Laura, what's going on Sunday then? There's something coming up on Sunday. What's happening?
Oh, what? For our webinar?
For our webinar, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought there was more chaos coming up somewhere here.
We want to talk about, before we go into the chaos, let's just talk about a few things coming up.
Okay, so if you have bought our bootcamp series 1 and 2, you will still get something from this. You'll get loads from this. If you haven't, come along as well. This is all the basics you need to do your shamanic practices, which, the three of us sat here will tell you they all work. All these things that we do, whether it be journaling, whether it be fires, whatever, it works. And we have had so many experiences between us of doing all this that Andrew teaches. So we've got stuff. We'll be bringing up stuff we've already taught in the boot camp if you've bought it, but we are also going to bring up a load of new ideas, because I don't know about you two, Dale and Amy, but I'm always coming up with new ways to do practices, because one of the things Andrew says is to have variety in what you do, whether it's variety in your ceremony, just in the way you live your life, just changing things and doing things different and having different ways of prayer. So we're always able to come up with something innovative.
Yeah,
thank
innovative.
You. And new, which means the same thing. So come along. We're going to have a chat to begin with, a discussion between us, a little presentation, and then we're going to do Q&A with you all. So come along. And also we've got bonuses. What are the bonuses, Amy, for our upcoming US event that we're offering?
Oh, bonuses would be a one-on-one session with Andrew.
That's it. Yes.
That would be a bonus.
3 sessions, aren't they?
Yes.
And for the first 5 and the early bird as well.
Yes, the early bird. Wait, can I just say something about this boot camp coming up? You don't have to buy the boot camp to come to this webinar, correct?
No. So that's what I mean. Whether you've bought it or not, come along, because you're going to learn something. It's not a repeat of everything that we're actually selling, because that wouldn't be the point.
And this is free as well, so there's no charge for coming along to this.
Right.
So if you want to go on to the sign up as well, it's on Andrew's website. So if you head on to Andrew's website, you'll be able to sign up all the way through there.
Right. So yes. So what Joel's saying is, sorry.
It's all right. In the chat too, so there's a link.
What's happening? What's happening, guys? Right. Chaos.
I'm going to be quiet. Okay. I'm going to be quiet. You say yours, Dave.
Go ahead, Laura. Go ahead.
The first 5 who sign up for our event are the ones who receive the free sessions with Andrew. I think I've got that right, haven't I?
Yes.
Yes.
That is right.
Your turn, Dale. Over to you.
There we go. So, Amy, what's happening in October then?
What is happening in October? Well, look, it's the manifest, guys.
You'll
Okay,
be
we're
able
going
to
to have
see all of us live. Woohoo!
Yes, you get to see us. Yes, live. You can pinch our skin, whatever. So it's it's an event about the Living the Mystical Life Daily number 3. Number 3, guys. This is not a repeat of anything. It's all fresh. It's going to be all fresh stuff. And so you see the 5 people on the screen that will be there. Andrew, Laura, Dale, David, and me. And then Living the Mystical Life is the first half. And then the second half is the No Drug Mystical Retreat, which has the ambisonic sound, along with the sound healing. And of course, David, Andrew, and Joe have worked on this, and they will be speaking about it. And we will be doing meditations with it. I have no idea what it is yet, so it'll be new for me
Working
too.
with the Lucia light as well and the PEMF.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so it's a demonstration of what we do in combined, but added to the sound healing, isn't it? The ambisonic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be an experience like mystical.
There we
Yes,
go. There
absolutely.
we go, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So lots happening.
A lot is.
So let's crack on with the show. So the world's gone mad. So let's talk a little bit about some of the crazy shit what goes on here. We were talking earlier, and it's just like some of the stuff. When you're born, you get your birth certificate, you get obviously a number, you come into a schooling system, you then have to pay taxes. We do come into quite a crazy world, even though some of us don't realize how crazy it is. But in hindsight, yeah, it's very crazy. So, Laura, you want to talk first about some of the crazy things and mad things which happen here?
Yeah, I mean, there's craziness, all the distraction that's going on with, as we said before, both in the US and the UK, on the political scene. All that is pulling people in to diverting them away, I would say, from their spiritual journey. It's all distraction, isn't it? Distraction. And then you get all the chaos, which makes people want to escape as well. So they get diverted into something else. And yeah, there's all sorts of things. I mean, in some ways, I think things are really hyped up. They're hyped up in the US. They're very much hyped up over here, whether it's moaning about the boat people or whatever. We've got an election coming up.
Immigration over here.
Immigration's always a big one over here.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll pull up anything just to. It's the old divide and conquer thing going on, isn't it? And get people against each other, get them in competition, and so on. And then you add to the mix the solar flares, the CMEs, and everything else, and full moon, and so on, whatever else has been going on, and everything gets amped up. And one thing I notice is that there seems to be triggers with people as well. I don't know if you two have noticed that. People are getting more triggered by things, or people are being pushed more into survival. That's another one that's happening at the moment. So it can create a really difficult world to live in. But that's if you're trying or wanting to exist in the world rather than with the earth, at the same time. And what we learn around here is, that it's word, thought, and action, isn't it, that creates your reality. And you can have that all going on, but actually create another reality for yourself where you dip in and out. We always say, and Andrew always says, you still have to pay taxes and things like that, but you can create another world where you can find the joy.
Yes, I agree. I think that is very true. Same thing going on here, like you with we got the Karens and the Kens and all that stuff going on. But it is true. And how do we okay, guys, I vision this. So those ice cream bars with the hard chocolate on the outside and the soft ice cream on the inside?
We call them choc ices.
Okay, choc ices. I don't know what they're called. I don't know what they're even called here, but that's kind of how it feels like, right? It's hardened on the outside and soft on the inside. And I feel like that is how we need to be, like the ice cream bar.
Yes.
You know, like just kind of like
And
have
yummy.
that, and yummy, right? We're yummy. It tastes good. And although it, you know, I don't know, that was the feeling I was getting as you were talking, having that kind of hardness and softness at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And realizing that.
What's your take on it, Dale?
Well, it's realizing you're born into a world run by idiots owned by psychopaths. And that's just innately the truth of how this world's set up. And everything's strategically planned in a way that a lot of people don't realize how controlled and how mad the world is, because they're under the spell, basically, given the kind of like, it's a fake reality for a lot of people, but people are fed the fear and they just kind of like accept it, don't they? The reality is like that. They give themselves away to a job where they're very unhappy. They work their ass off. They knock years off their life by working too much. And they're enslaved by chasing the money at all times. So a lot of people don't realize the world is run by crazy people, but it's people like us who have a spiritual practice and understanding, where we go through a death or we go through an awakening, where we realize how fucking crazy the world is. Like, to actually think that we have to pay to live here on a planet is fucking insane. Like, you literally have to work, have paper to eat, to do this. Like, realistically, looking that from neutrality is fucking crazy. Like, no other planet you have to pay to live on and actually, you know, buy stuff and have the value of someone who's got loads of money, someone who hasn't, and all of those different things as well.
Well, the thing is, that's because we take on the unlimited point of view, and until people can grasp the concept of the unlimited point of view, they're going to be limited by what the system is offering and think that's all there is. And then, you know, hopefully when they start to see there's an unseen world that you can actually communicate with and it works with you, whether you call it the universe, whether you call it God, whether you call it great mystery or great spirit, it actually will co-create with you. And you take a step there and then start working with the earth energies, which is what we're always saying, work with the earth energies. And then what you can create is quite incredible. And it can run alongside or like weave in and out of, you know, the matrix, if you want to call it that. And it can do, and us three are living proof, and Andrew and many others out there, that you can do it that way. And I think when you talk about the hardening, Dale, for me, it's a fortification, isn't it? It's not even like a massive protection. It's like a sort of a fortification, or I don't know what you thought when you used the word hardening, but I'm taking it as like just a little bit of softish protection against what's going on there, because you can't battle something, can you, with the same energy that created it, because it doesn't work. So you don't go head on at something like the system. You work around it, don't you?
Yeah.
You exist with it. You outcreate it, which is what Andrew's always teaching. So for me, the word hardening is like a sort of a fortification against what potentially could creep into your reality if you want to give it that much attention.
Yes.
There we go.
Because you still have to live here. You still have to be a human and do the
Yes.
human things.
And what you're looking at looks back at you, and if you're always looking in at that fear and the system and all of the shit, all the shit just stares back at you. And a lot of people come see me in sessions and they become quite mentally unwell because of it, because they feed in and they see all the negativity and they don't learn how to make it so they don't allow it to completely overwhelm them. And a lot of people get overwhelmed. They come into spirituality, they learn about the reptilians, who learn about all of the secret space program, all of that, and that's what they look at, and all of a sudden they go a bit crazy. So it's like how you can be in here but not get overwhelmed with the information, even the spiritual shit. Don't lose yourself in spirituality. Have a spiritual practice, but don't go too far where it's 24/7, 7 days a week. You're talking about spirituality, because that ungrounds you. And again, that creates a weakening in your energy field. It's about how you can be human and spiritual and all of these other things, a father, a brother, all at the same time in balance. Very important.
Yeah, it's getting the balance.
Yeah. It's
No, I
almost
mean, let's
like,
face it. Go on.
yeah, go ahead. No. I was just going to say, you were talking about variety and using variety in your practice, which I love variety. I'm kind of like that kind of person that doesn't like to do the same things over and over. So for the variety, I was reading, and it just comes to you. For me, it just comes to me very natural. So I've been working with the crows, and it's in my backyard, the crows in my backyard. And I've been working with them. They're coming, I feed them, and they bring me gifts. I didn't even know that they did that. And it's just this kind of like a thing we have between each other. And it's almost, so I look up crows in the medicine cards, and there's a human law and there's a spiritual law. And that's how the crows work. And I just thought, well, that's good for today. We have a human law and we have a spiritual law that we can work with.
Yes.
The
universal laws.
Yeah. It doesn't have to all be human law. There has to be a balance between them.
It's interesting what Judith is saying, because I'm like that too. So she says, the more focus I put into my stuff and what I need to be doing, the more all that falls off to the side and loses the charge and control.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it does. And it's also like, for being, we were discussing this very recently related to me. It's actually being in the moment and not having all your energies out there ahead. I mean, some people have their energies in the past, don't they? What's happened to them in the past, old loves, or they sort of sit in the past, and you haven't got the power of your presence, your iron presence at the moment, if a lot of your energy is lost in the past. For me, it's like maybe worrying a little bit about the future, what's going to happen. Or, I mean, I try not to, and I still do a lot of practices, but I have to remind myself to be in the present. And it's such an old statement, that one, but I still have to remind myself to be here now, to do the meditation, because, we lose pieces and parts of our energy, our light bodies out there all the time, don't we? And part of Andrew's teaching of precognitive and postcognitive workforce is that you are in control of your light bodies being out there. They're not just going out there like because you're living in the future, worried about something that could potentially happen. You're actually setting things up for yourself in the future if you're going to use your light bodies. So there is a difference in that. And Dale spends a lot of time bringing back people's light bodies who've gone off all over the place.
They've gone rogue. Did they go rogue, Dale?
They go rogue.
Rogue shards.
That's important as well. I've just got a bit of a shadow on my screen. I do apologise. I need to put some more light on my screen. And what I've noticed is how important inner work is, because like Laura was saying, Laura, you had a past where you worked a certain job, and I had exactly the same experience where you were required to not be in the moment, to be required to be working, planning ahead, and so on. And I had the exact same. I worked in the restaurant industry, the hospitality industry as well. So my kind of do going in the future was there as well. And this is how important the inner work is. And if you do have parts of you which are like that, allowing yourself to dive deep into how to kind of flip the frequency on it. Like, it's like I had loads of shit where I was just moving too quick, moving too fast. And I'm still working on it. I'm still planning too much shit in my head. Then I have to literally say stop. So spirituality, inner work is so important to be able to harden yourself as well. Very, very important.
Yeah, well, it's about being sovereign, isn't it? And having your energies working for you, within you at that moment. Because if you're scattered, then you're easily going to be pulled into all the crap that's happening out there. And when you're centered and in the moment, you're less likely to be so influenced.
Yes. Ooh,
the man
Dale.
himself.
Dale. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Andrew.
How's it going?
Good.
It's going good. We're having a good discussion here about the hardening of our reality. with all the crap that's going on out in the world.
That's not a sexual reference.
I'm just
No,
trying
you're
to
on the
find
wrong
the
show.
light, guys.
Wrong show. That's next week.
Wrong show.
Well, that might help some people in their hard realities. Getting laid a little bit.
Sorry to disappoint, guys, if you came for that.
Yes. Mind you, our shows have always managed to change direction sometimes, haven't they?
Yes.
Dale just finishing his quickie.
No, I'm trying to get more light onto the screen. I was like in a proper shadow.
He shut himself away in the bedroom.
You look like a
shadow.
shadow.
Your phallus source.
There we go. So where were we? We were So the last bit we were just talking about not being in the now moment, weren't we? That was the last part we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Amy, what about for you? How important is being in the now for you?
Oh, wow. It's very important.
A light worker question.
Yes.
Well, we had to
Andrew's on the wrong show.
What's it like? It feels like, just bliss and no. I don't know. Do we know when we're in the moment? Like, I don't know. It's just, you're in the moment.
Setup question. It's a setup question.
It is a setup.
Dale, what's it like living in the now? Considering all the teachings about this show are about living in the now.
Yeah, so what we were talking about, Andrew, before you came in was like, the do and always trying to charge forward all the time. So that was just kind of like the setup for talking about the now. And Laura actually brought it up as well, talking about moving in the future.
But doers don't live in the now.
Yes, that's what we were saying.
Yeah, exactly. But I was saying we'd have more power if we brought our energies back for the moment rather than charging out ahead.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't be a doer.
No, but we don't all want to be doers, do we? Because do doesn't always achieve,
is a compensation. A do is a compensation for something else.
Interesting. Yes.
It's a payoff, kind of,
or a martyrdom.
Yeah. Yes, there's that in it.
Yes, so it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Always having to. Well, there's also a seeking approval thing there in some ways, isn't it? Or not want to be seen lacking in some ways as well. So that is you're taking on other people's projections.
Exactly. It could be leftover damage from school where you were competitively always wanted to be better than others.
Yes.
And there's an overactivation of your adrenals as well. You're always in adrenal gland mode.
Yep.
When you're in it.
Yes, that's the other thing we didn't bring up just now when we were talking about that. It's about heart-spaced action rather than adrenal chemical action, isn't it? When we were talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were talking, Andrew, about how to manage your reality in a world that is constantly wanting to throw chaos and fear at you. Something we've covered before, but
got to learn to be unpredictable.
Yeah, I was talking about doing changing your daily practices as well, keeping them fresh.
Not just that unpredictability has got to account to all aspects, even your entertainment.
Yeah.
And unpredictability is one of the easiest ways to break rigidity, in which you are stuck in one cycle and can't make any changes.
That's a bit like being stuck in mediocrity, isn't it? And not taking the change, making the changes to move forward and elevate your journey.
No, you could be stuck in success too, and success becomes repetitively destructive after a while because you're never accepting the victories of it.
Oh, so it starts working against you in that case then?
Yep.
Because everything has to be taken forward. So Tara's asking, what's the difference between do versus following the prompts or taking inspired action?
So following is following, doing is doing, and do is overdue to the point of self-manipulation or manipulation of others. And then inspired action, requires no real effort to make it happen. And it doesn't have questionable subject matters motivating it for long periods of time.
Oh, it doesn't have an agenda behind it like that, does it?
Like a
It's more of
do-do-do is an agenda of manipulation and control of
yeah,
the self and others. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Inspired is from the heart action almost.
And generally you're in
Mm.
no time when you're in inspired action.
Yeah, yeah. Because the heart is a no time piece of technology.
Yeah. Dude.
And then there's the doo-doo that is the poop doo-doo. Okay. And those are the over-colonics people.
Well,
Oh, explain that.
yeah, that's more. Is that more zealot?
They'd rather do a colonic than have a good old glass of morning poop. So they think they're
Oh,
lose too much time on the shitter.
Okay, yeah.
and you're talking
Guys,
literally, right?
Yep.
Right? Literally, people do that?
Yep.
Go to
Yes.
colonic? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, the over detoxers. Their religion is detox.
Oh, wow.
so would it be the
That-
same as like plant medicine people doing it all the time?
Yep.
And just see, yeah, the same concept.
It's going to put such strain on the body, that isn't it?
You're never going to be able to build up the right levels of internal gut stuff. 80% of your immune system is there. All of your
Yeah.
dopamine is generated from there.
Mm.
Everybody thinks that it's in your head. No, it's in your gut.
Mhm.
That's why it's
Well,
called the gut brain.
I had a when I did face-to-face psychic surgery sessions a few months ago under the light at that lady's place near Leeds. There was these two people who came in and they were so fucking skinny and literally they had no weight on, and they were a couple and they were talking and straight away I knew exactly what was going on with them, and both of them said they're on a detox, and I was like, oh, how often do you detox? And once every 2 weeks, once a week. Like they have a full-on detox for 2 or 3 days, don't eat, the vegan as well, and they literally look like they're both going to die. And I had to say to them, look, you're literally going to destroy your body. You've got obviously your gut's messed up. You're going to have to go through a process of obviously eating meat. And it's some serious shit how people can get so lost like that. Like literally you look like you're dying, and how can you not look at yourself in the mirror and go, holy shit, like who is that person? Like it amazes me really how like extreme people can go and lose themselves enough to realize, holy shit, what the fuck am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
How do people? Where does the hardening of our reality? Okay, so the hardening of our reality. It had to. When did we realize it? Well, each of us is different, but I'm just trying to think of when did I realize that my reality is being hardened?
Well, who does the hardening?
I do the hardening.
Out of a reaction or action?
Okay, but to me, it feels like a repetitive action and reaction.
So that reactive energy, you become noticing of it when it boxes you in, and you're stuck in your own walls.
Yes.
And then the active choice of doing it is hardening our reality is prayer, ceremony, daily practice, so that we immunize ourselves to potential high frequency events that we're unprepared for. But our walls don't limit us.
Right.
That's the difference.
Yeah, it's the unlimited point of view, but creating, and in the unlimited point of view, you can then create your own reality. Because you want to be creating your own reality, don't you? With everything else that's going on around you, you want people.
Most people new to the practice don't understand that part of the journey, and it takes them years to get to that acceptance point. So therefore, they're just a bricklayer, that brick and mortar layer, and on a spiritual level, and their spiritual practice may show them how to be a master at brick and mortar. But in all reality, there's no plan behind the brick and mortar. That's why they wall themselves in.
Right. So it's a form of fortification, but it's limiting them rather than having it as a maybe less solid fortification, one that allows the
learning that it's not about the central fortification; it's about many rings that are only, even if they're only 1 foot tall, it's still an obstruction to a waveform of energy that's getting to you.
Mhm.
Like if you have several dozen rings, that means the energy once it hits your core wall has significantly lost power. And those rings are very easy to rebuild if they get knocked over. Okay?
It's
That's
like
why
having
mastering a variety of skills is so important when you're around that learning early time.
Mhm.
Yes, because I was saying earlier, also you can create that sort of fortification by what you focus on as well, can't you?
Sure.
Mm.
and a
As
lot of
long as
people
that focus doesn't become an obsession.
That's
yeah.
exactly what I was
Yeah.
going to say,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
a lot of people think, Andrew, how you say, what do you do for fun? What do you do for fun? And people might say, well, I do gaming and stuff. Well, then that becomes an obsession, doesn't it? You have to realize what your obsession is. If
Right.
you're
You got to
doing that,
know your obsessive nature too.
yes, that's so. I just realized that the other day.
And when you do the
Okay.
same stuff over and over again, it kind of loses its potent power, doesn't it? After a while, doesn't have the same
Example.
effect. Yeah.
Right.
I think
Example.
you start.
I play World of Warcraft, and people instantly think of those people that are stuck in their mother's basements and play. I
Yeah.
play once a week for a few hours on a game stream, and every now and then I might log in a second day for a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
So at most 4 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
Is that obsessive?
No.
What is
I don't.
that? It's just entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertainment. Yeah.
But it is immediately adjudged as obsessive
On their what they believe is
by
obsessive, right?
others, yes, because
Yes.
they believe video games as a decadent indulgent you shouldn't be taking up.
Yes.
A
Like,
gluttony of indulging.
but you know what? We learned this as children because for me, our parents would limit us, right? You
Sure.
can only watch TV for an hour. And, that becomes like, oh, that's obsessive then if I want to watch for 2, right?
That's
Well, the
not so
guilt
much in the
sets
Gen
in.
X or the Gen Z, but it's
No, no.
it's the 8 hour game players who grew up on 8 hours of play before mom got home and let them play another 3 hours.
Oh, right. Mom
Oh,
thinks they're only
yeah.
mom thinks they're only playing for
Yeah.
3. Oh
Oh,
my
the mum and dad can't be asked to look after them, so they just put them
Right.
on the games all day. It's a babysitter.
God.
That's a babysitter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I used to feel guilty watching telly in the day, or if the sun
Yes,
was
or
out.
having a Coca-Cola in your refrigerator.
I know, I
Oh,
did,
no,
didn't
I
I?
watch TV during the
All
day.
these weird things that I
Or
grew
having
up
a
with, and
cigarette, Laura.
Yeah.
all these
She's,
things I
she's,
grew up
she's
with,
still got that one
all
to
these
work on.
all these things I grew up with that have a guilt layering with them.
Oh, yeah.
The guilt
Yeah.
layering because of the program and the conditioning, that it's still there. Some of which I haven't dealt with, and it just comes up. It just shows itself at different times.
Napping in the afternoon was one for me.
Oh, I
Oh
love
yeah,
napping in the afternoon.
Oh, I do. I love it
yes.
now.
I do now, yeah.
I love it. But
Here's a challenge to everyone in the audience: to once a week nap in the afternoon and not
Yeah.
feel guilty about it.
Mhm.
Guilt, shame, or blame, or anything like that. The challenge is to do a 1 hour nap. And
Yeah.
if you need help, go to the dietary supplement store or wherever you get and see if you can find tryptophan. That's the same shit that's inside turkey that knocks your ass out.
Uh-huh.
It'll be the best power nap you ever had.
Melatonin.
Yeah.
Get some.
It's no tryptophan.
Oh, just that pure
Yeah, just
tryptophan. Okay.
tryptophan. 100 milligrams of tryptophan.
Yes.
Or
And what if they
sleeping
go
as
over
well.
1 hour?
Even better.
Even
What if they slept 4?
Yeah, let yourself sleep whatever. Yeah.
So much
Sleeping
healing
in
that
is
as
another
well.
one as well, isn't it? I had to make myself come out of from school and getting told off.
Mhm.
Like, gotta go to school, you gotta get up, don't be in bed. Like, yeah.
Mm.
The doers running your life.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah, that's where it comes from, isn't it? So Where is it? Hold on, there was a question up here from Tara. So how do you maintain authenticity and vulnerability while practicing protection and not building that wall?
That's the delicate balance of learning to be you in the ever-evolving learning, relearning, and earning your trust.
Mm.
And love can be
That's
the
the
protection.
journey. That is the journey.
Yeah.
How do you know? Only you will really know. We can tell you our observations, but that may not mean you agree with our observations. There are plenty of people in times that I have the sessions, and I've given them the hardest truth right up front. No, it isn't me. Never. It'll be nothing. And anything you say from then on is offensive to me.
And you could even say as well, like, love and the frequency can be a protection as well. You know, when you're in that frequency in the heart, or that can be also protection. So it can be
And
meaning
joy.
both. Yeah.
And I want
Yeah.
to use
Joy.
veganism. I
Joy.
want to use veganism as an example here. On my show early on, I would say you have to eat the meat, and then I adjusted it. You have to learn to be a good vegan, because it was far more hurtful to them by calling them a shitty vegan. Because I'd say there's 1.5 billion Indians who are vegetarian and have figured out how to not be emaciated like you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I let the meat argument completely go and went right to the 1.5 billion vegans who know how to eat. You don't. That
Yeah.
saves even more lives than eat the meat, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And when I mean
But it got
save
the
lives, I
message
mean
through, didn't
save
it?
lives. Yeah.
You found the right frequency though to get the message through.
Yeah.
Mm.
I had to
You,
adjust.
well,
Okay?
you can imagine some of the people, Andrew, you said, to eat meat. You can see,
Yeah.
like, picture them going to eat meat and being sick, like trying the hardest just to have a bite of it. They're like, fuck it, I'm not doing it.
Uh-huh.
I think that's important, the adjustment periods that happen.
Yep.
I think that's important for you to know those and know what they are, to adjust to what you need now. Oh, I need this week. Last week I needed that. This week I need this. Yeah.
Well, that's why counting your protein is far more important than anything. It is the protein that keeps the body alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You can still have 40 grams of protein and still be at an 800 calorie a diet day, okay, versus a 1,200 calorie a diet day, which is average for a woman and 2,000 for a man in a state of growing. Okay, that's standard. That's standard conceptual and dietary math. The real dietary people, not the fake dietary people from Western medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you need calories to do what? Think. Process your liver to process stuff. Heart rate, all the make blood cells. That's why we need calories.
Yeah.
Okay, we also need to be able to expel that stuff. That costs calories too.
And you get a lot of people who actually eat meat, and I've seen this, and they don't eat enough meat. They'll have maybe a chicken breast or a small chicken breast, and that's all the meat during the day. You tend to find that a lot as well. Meat eaters don't eat enough meat as well.
No, they eat
I've
one
seen
meal a day and snack in between, and they
Yes.
have shitty snacks, or they don't snack at all because they read one time eat one meal a day, and you'll cut your fat growth out, which is total bullshit. Okay,
Yeah.
it's all about understanding your carbs and sugars. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's ultimately what's going to put you in ketosis. Okay,
And you lose muscle when you don't eat protein.
that's right.
Yeah.
First thing the body does is eat that muscle for protein.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you need spiritual calories too.
Sure, their regular calories convert to spiritual calories to create spiritual
Yeah.
calories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our sexual energy is regularly being converted into creativity, etc., whatever it is for motivation. And that's why a lot of people lose libido.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about intermittent fasting then, because that's a big one, isn't it? A lot of people are intermittent fasters.
Oh,
You see
isn't
it.
it? Yeah. Mm.
Okay. So intermittent fasting is never meant for anybody that's a beginner or an intermediate. It is meant for those people who have already mastered their dietary journey. And I mean mastered their dietary journey. They know their body. They have done the journey of understanding, and then understanding what is intermittent fasting. All it is to get a moment where there's no incoming food so that you regularly can expel more than you do in a week or a few days. Okay? But with a balanced diet and a balanced gut protein, you don't need to go through intermittent fasting. It is a group of people who assigned one aspect of a Qigong technique that said if you intermittent fast like a Chinese master from 1,000 years ago, and that Chinese master maybe lived on 200 calories a day, which is a half a bowl of rice and maybe 3 pieces of chicken. Because that's all they had because they were at near starvation, and they developed Qigong and yoga because of starvation. That's right. All you yoga people that are out there, every single one of you, yoga was designed for people during famines and starvation. They discovered when you had food, yes, it benefited your life, but its original invention was for people in famine starvation to overcome the need to eat your neighbor.
Wow. I don't want to eat my neighbor.
Okay?
Oh.
And, she's going to have some good energy in her. Okay? She does yoga.
Oh my gosh, that's a funny thought. Wow. What was I going to say about the hardening of our reality? Oh shoot. So does our reality get hardened? So like all these things, like, when you were saying, Dale, about the intermittent fasting, we listen to this person and this person. There's so many people out there, right? That come through your feed or come through this and, talk about this. It's like, I guess it's up to us to decide, do we listen or not listen? Yeah.
Amy, the amount of people who actually just don't listen to the body at all, what it needs and what it wants. And again, it's all ideology. I heard this one guy on YouTube talk about it. I'm going to follow him and completely, copy exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
Or bastardize what they say.
That's it.
Most of them bastardize a guy's teachings and therefore make their mistakes.
Yes.
They don't actually follow the real protocol.
Oh, true. I do believe that when you see them. I do believe that. What is the discernment then for people who just listen to the first person that they see and like, oh wow,
that person has no discernment.
Okay, right.
It's a sheep.
So they need to learn discernment first,
which is practice.
Understanding how we can lie to ourselves very easily, color subject matters with a post-cognition process that fits our ego.
And trust.
Hashtag the light worker community.
Okay. A couple weeks ago, I had a lady call in that I said, when I got to the what's going on with your diet? And she says, I eat fine. Well, why everything I'm looking at you, do you have this, purple energy around your liver because you're not processing anything and your body's in a completely sluggish mode. You're not producing any real muscle. You're not producing anything. It's because you're skipping at least 8 to 12 meals per week. And it took her a while for her to get past her ego and realize I probably do that. And I go, the only way you're ever going to know is record it. And by your own written hand, that has enough truth behind it. If you can overwhelm the ego programs in you that will make you lie about what you write down.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That's the only way you're ever going to know. Don't take my word for it. Take your truthful word for it. And at that point, you'll understand when I say you're skipping 8 to 12 meals per week. Okay? That's 30 meals a month, 30 to 40 meals per month you're skipping. How are you getting regular protein? You're not.
No.
So would that be something like the inner dickhead or an inner program kind of suitably,
Unfortunately, a lot of people grow up with weird food programs. Women have a lot worse job, a worse time at it than men because body imagery is so much more cultivatedly important for them. Okay, they cultivate an importance of body imagery or get shamed or whatever else, and they develop bulimia, they develop anorexia, they develop picky food syndrome, and therefore they use it to justify to eat nothing.
Wow.
And then add in you're killing the animals to that whole process. It's a toxic mess of self-destruction.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick on the vegetarians alone.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so let's look at the people that will say I'm allergic to this food, and then you ask them if you've ever eaten it. No. How do you know you're allergic to it? Okay, you created a defense at a very young age for whatever reason that was saying no to the authority around you. Okay,
Oh, is
the
it a
authority was
way
mom
of
and dad.
taking?
Eat your food.
Is it a way of taking control of your reality?
Manipulative control. Yes.
And what about the people in their adult ages who all of a sudden have an allergy to something like gluten? Is that again that same thing, saying overriding what you need for your body?
So the gluten people are weird. There are people with gluten issues. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
And as soon as they take gluten out, they don't have gas, they don't have upset stomach, they're able to sleep longer periods of time. Um, but generally, gluten issues, milk issues, are an unstable gut. Okay, meaning you've probably got a mix of parasites with candida and something else going on, which manipulates your eating habits. Candida
You-
absolutely makes you want to have sugar. It
So,
puts an impulse, hormonic impulse for sugar in you.
do you get a lot of
Okay,
people who are gluten free, Andrew, who have it in through the DNA, the family lineage? From someone who has it in their lineage, can they pass it on, the gluten
so is
stuff?
gluten free genetic? The gluten issue is genetic.
Yeah.
Currently, now it is, but 15 years ago, 20 years ago, it wasn't.
Okay.
Okay, and it's because of the toxicity levels of highly refined bleached flour breads. If they were to switch to natural sourdough breads, majority of gluten issues would go away. Because what's in sourdough? All the other good nutrients and shit and bacteria that you need for a good gut.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's like the bread's got bleach in, doesn't it? The white bread, they've actually put bleach in it.
Yeah, because they use the bleach to kill all the little microorganisms in it.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know if there's any question. Is the gluten issue not, this was from Tara, is the gluten issue not as a result of the chemicals or the processed food?
So it's split half and half. Half have an issue with the chemical foods, the chemicals, and a screwed up gut, and the other half, it's the processed food that screws up their gut. Okay, combined with sugars. Like there are a lot of people that like I don't eat any sugar. Do you eat fruit? Yes, you do.
Yeah,
You got
yes,
sugars.
you do.
You have carbs. You have sugars. Your
Yes.
liver converts things into sugars. Okay, then you have to understand how you convert. Like Irish people, real deep Irish, genetic Irish people need more sugar in their life. Why? Because they grew up in a cold ass, rainy country that they needed to be able to have instant heat and warmth. The same thing with the Inuits, the High Russians. And then you have the people that are in the super hot countries that don't want the sugars. They want a protein that can help cool their body by having a higher blood pressure. Okay? Doesn't create hypertension. So environment is your body reacts to the environment and adjusts the diet accordingly,
Like we do in the winter, right?
like we do in the winter.
We eat different foods in the winter than the summer.
Right. Example in
So,
the north. Have you guys ever heard of a food called pemmican?
No.
No.
So it is a basically a meat like buffalo, beer, dare, whatever, where it's dried until it's like almost as hard as glass. Okay, so that when you hit it with a hammer, it turns into a flaky powder. And then you take the meat, the fat, or suet from the animal, and you slowly melt it down, and you put an equal amount of fat to this powdered meat or broken up chunks of meat as little as possible. Then you let it cool. And because of the way the fat content is, it can stay good for 20, 30, 40 years. and it's extremely high in protein, extremely high in stuff that you need. Like in the early days when the French Canadian travelers started getting pemmican from the Native Americans there, they realized you can go from traveling a little more than 20 miles a day to over 80 miles a day if you were eating pemmican.
Wow.
That's how much more fuel it was giving you.
Wow.
Okay?
Is it a slow burn? Is it a slow burn
Very
in the
slow
body?
burn. You nibble on it and nibble on it, or you put a whole bunch in your gut because that fat has already been melted down, and that's pure calories. And then the meat that's been powdered, example, when the meat's been powdered, that could be equivalent to a 40-ounce steak and something the size of 2 tablespoons.
Whoa.
Okay?
Whoa. That's
Okay?
Can
Or
I ask
3
you,
tablespoons. Yeah, 3 tablespoons for a 40-ounce steak.
what about beef jerky? What do you think of
So
that?
beef jerky is a similar journey, except they don't dry it as much as they would for pemmican. The whole point
Oh,
of jerking was to make it usable for a decade, 5 to 7 years, as long as mold didn't form on the surface.
okay. So
Was
beef
drying it
jerky.
was a way of saving it. A lot of times they didn't eat the beef jerky raw; they threw it in the soup and let it reconstitute in the soup.
Hmm.
Okay,
So that's a healthy protein. Yeah.
it can be, yes,
Yeah.
can be, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody that's out there, look up pemmican. There's an
Pemmican.
interesting video series on it on YouTube. You can learn to make it your own. A lot of times they would add nuts and berries into it also for a more of a sweeter journey. The Canadian Mounties, even to this day, pemmican is one of those highest natural survival foods that are out there. Now, every culture, indigenous culture, has their version of pemmican. Okay, it's all about how long does it store. If it's just the suet and the meat, it can store 20, even 50 years. As soon as you add other stuff that have the slightest amount of moisture into it, then the storage time gets a little less and a little less.
Joel put a picture up. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
What does it taste like? What's it taste like, Andrew?
Like beef jerky with fat.
Just I can imagine. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you add salt and pepper to it. You could add other salt, pepper, cumin, cinnamon if you have it, and it's sweetens some of it. But a lot of people would just take their pemmican and throw it in a pan with some potatoes and whatever wild vegetables they could follow, and make a stew out of it right away. Okay, so you could eat it raw and fully survive and have no problems, or mix it with something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, stew, soup.
Meatballs and sauce.
Well, no, you wouldn't make meatballs out of pemmican. You just make like a stew out of it.
You tell him.
But that one bowl of soup would be like 7,000 calories.
Mm.
Okay?
A lot of people look at calories though when they're eating.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too high fat. But there is a good fat and a bad fat.
Sure, fat is not destructive as much as they want to tell it to you.
Yeah.
Okay? It is not.
No.
You need to
There
have
was
fat.
back in the day, was it round about 2002, 5, where it was just everything was fat free? Like literally, that's all the adverts were talking about: fat free,
Right.
healthy, and so
Tastes
on.
like shit
Yeah.
too.
Well, they used to say half the fat, didn't they? And it would be half the taste as well.
Half
Oh
the
God,
taste.
Greek yogurt without fat. Oh my God, it's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
But when I was
I was
younger,
out-
I think
I was out with a friend a couple weeks ago, and we went to a burger place called the B Spot. It's a local chef who made a bunch of these little local high quality burger joints, and they use 60-40 meat, 60% meat, 40% fat, but you can get 80-20.
Mhm.
And their kid was with us, and it's a younger girl, and she's like, I don't like the fat. I'm like, you have to try this. The look on her face was flavor in meat. She couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. And now she takes all her friends there because of this. And she's like, I go to the grocery store and I can't find them. I'm like, you're right. You're not going to ever find a 60-40 blend in a store. when I was growing up, that was commonplace. And then it went to 80-20. Then it went to 90-10. Now it's 92-8.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
8% fat or even 3% fat.
Mm.
You know why they get less and less fat? Because they can give you more asshole, tail, and lung in your
Okay.
beef.
Uh,
Okay? The
Mm.
less fat, the more chunkage that you don't want to eat. The
Uh,
tail, the snout, the hoof. Okay?
interesting.
yeah.
So you
They
see
sell
a
it
lot
as
of
being
people
lean, don't they?
Lean.
Yes, they
as
call it
well.
lean.
Lean. Mm.
You
Right.
know where those
All those
gaming
undesirable parts are in there.
Mm.
Ooh, I did not know this.
Yes.
So
everything. Yeah,
we're better off with the
With the,
20% fat
Right.
yes.
mince or
Because you have
whatever.
more of
Yeah.
the real beef that actually has marbling in it.
And the flavour. Yeah.
Hmm.
so
So
those
next
like
time you have that 3% lean beef, that's asshole, tongue, eyeball,
Oh no!
ear.
Oh, see,
Okay.
that's just. I think you won me over already. You had me at S.
so let's
You
talk
won.
about game as well, like elk. That's another one that has
Mm.
no fat, isn't it? Because I see a lot of
Right.
people
People
who
can
just
die if you were to
constantly
eat
eat
elk.
it.
Yeah, if you were to eat elk alone, you could die because there's no fat in it.
Yeah,
No fat in it.
a lot of
Yeah.
people don't realize that.
In the 70s, they really tried to get us. Well, over here it was you couldn't have butter. Everybody was buying flora. You know, that
Like
horrible.
margarine?
Yeah.
Margarine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hydrogenated oil?
Yeah.
And
I can't
you
believe it's
weren't
not
to
butter.
have like bacon and eggs for breakfast. You couldn't
Yes.
have bacon and eggs for breakfast. You had to have, I don't know, like cereal, which is no good at all.
No. No. Hmm.
So Joel was
And
asking what's the best animal for fat? The pig. Okay, but at the
Hog.
same time, you could have a cow that's done right, and the thing is, got to be grass fed and well exercised for it to have marbling. If you have a cow that's an indoor grain fed, it'll get fat and have all muscle, but it won't have the marbling.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
so
love that on the
can
back of ribs, with all the marbling.
Ribs. Oh man,
oh,
Dale.
can our bodies change to adapt? Like we eat more sugar now. I know there is more diabetes, but gradually, can the DNA change so that it can handle the amount of sugar and carbs we're eating?
unfortunately, at this state of our evolution, no.
Okay.
No more
There
eclairs.
are some. Hold on, let me finish. There are some natural ways that you can get it. The issue is it's very easy to fall back into diabetes. There have been many people who have, through diet change and exercise, have gotten rid of their early onset diabetes. But once you've stopped normal insulin production for extended periods of time, the body will go back to intermittent times where it doesn't produce the level of insulin you need.
Hmm.
Your
Uh,
emotional issues will affect your insulin levels.
mhm.
So Tara's asking for Andrew, with the world gone mad, how much madder will it get? What are the food warnings about? And how are we meant to interact with the reality that they are guiding us towards?
First thing first is don't get into fear. As
Mm.
long as you're in fear, you will fall apart and have paranoia about your food itself, and you'll eat less and less and less, or begin a concept that will take you down a path where food isn't fun anymore. And if food isn't fun for you, the stuff that you put in your body to fuel your day, guess what? That will produce depression. Now, as the world gets madder, what's it going to look like? They're going to do whatever they can do to trigger you into fear. Whatever they can do. Bill Gates is now has this chemical spray that they're putting on all the organic food that everybody's flipping out about now. Okay? They're going to continue to do this stuff. You
Mm.
have to learn where can you get food from that's an alternative. I have where I live, the Amish people are 6 miles away from me. There's an Amish butcher. I can go to any of the Amish farms and say to them, hey, I want this, this, and this, and they'll go pick it off the shit and bring it to me. Okay? Last year, they were selling a case of 10 kilograms of tomatoes, Roma tomatoes, for $4. $4. Okay? What do you think I did with them? I ate the shit out of tomatoes, and then I froze a whole bunch. Cut them and diced them up, and then slightly cooked them for a little bit, and then put them in bags and froze them. Okay? So I could make a pasta sauce, 1, 2, 3, from fresh tomatoes that were frozen. Or whatever else I wanted to use them for. You got to learn where you can get alternative sources of food that are not your big box grocery store. As well as, okay, in the old days, Mason's jars, they would assemble food in the Mason's jars and it would stay good for months, years even. Okay? There are many old world cooking techniques, but you got to know what you're doing. You got to have the motivation and the desire and the energy to go ahead and do that for yourself.
Yeah.
So there's your answer. Don't fall into fear. Learn a way to outcreate the system that wants to put you into fear. Okay? Grow something. Anybody can grow tomatoes, beans, all that stuff. And you can even grow them indoors during the winters if you're willing to sacrifice a space in your house. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm quite hungry now.
I know. I know. We ended up talking about food, guys.
Yeah, but that's coming back to the hardening of reality.
Exactly. I know.
A lot of people's reality hardens from the fear of our poison food system. And we do have a poison food system.
Yeah.
Okay? We really do. But not every bit of it is poisoned. Okay?
Yeah, you just have to put that effort through, to go look for it.
Right.
Because it's around. There's many people that have those community gardens you can.
That's right.
Yeah, go to. Yeah.
Get back to the grandmother's kitchen. Make your own bread.
Yep.
What about water then, Andrew? What would you recommend the best way of treating water? Because I know a lot of people get a bit crazy and they go on distilled water, and obviously that doesn't have any minerals. It actually takes some minerals out. What would you recommend the best way of drinking water? Like what type of machine and so on?
Standard reverse osmosis filter you can get from any hardware store that installs underneath your sink. It's got a paper filter and a carbon filter. Sometimes two paper filters. It's a 1, 2, or 3 stage filter, and that filters out the bad stuff, but the good stuff's left in. The thing is that doesn't get out your fluoride. Okay, there's a very specific fluorides are very small on the micron levels. Okay. Unfortunately, we have to live with what we got. And when we go to 2 levels of extremes, we create a paranoia inside ourselves. Your standard two filter thing under the sink filter. Okay? Costs maybe $60 to buy, and a plumber can install it for probably $100. Okay? And then every 3 months you change the filters yourself.
Well, guys, I think we should call it an end to the show. It's been really fun. What a dive into different topics, and now it's made me really hungry.
You're going to come out here and start raiding the fridge, Dale.
Yes. So, Laura, how can people get a hold of you?
Okay. Are there any other announcements we've got? We've done them all, haven't we?
We've done them all.
Yes, okay. Everybody come to our event. We have our webinar that's going to be coming up.
Sunday.
Yes. I believe the first 5 people that sign up for that during that webinar will get a half-hour pre-session with me.
Yes.
Live in the flesh.
That's right. Not at the event, but afterwards you'll schedule.
Oh, afterwards. Oh yeah.
Because that's 2.5 more hours.
That's too bad.
Okay, yeah, we spoke about this earlier. The Living the Mystical Life Daily 3. And our No Drug Mystical Experience. That's it. That's what we're doing, isn't it?
And a chance to meet the team. Myself, Amy, Andrew, Laura, David. We'll all be.
Yes.
And Amy. Yeah.
And Joel and Morgan.
And Joel and Morgan.
Joel and Morgan, yes. There we go. You'll be
and the baby.
And the baby.
And the baby as well. There we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Okay, so I'm at Laura2feathers@gmail.com or 2feathersmedicine.com. If you'd like to have a session with me online, help you on your shamanic journey, help you create that fortification or help you harden that reality in these difficult times, or come to your ancestral fire with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura. Amy?
Yeah, you can reach me over at the UCM community with David Ellis and I at community.universalcitizentv.com, where we have free resources, meditations, free documents such as legal and business. We have AI tools and software, and we have live certified classes such as counseling and yoga, actually, Alliance. So yeah, come join us over there.
Thank you, Amy. Andrew?
You can go to my website, andrewbartzis.com, have a private session with me, sign up for the boot camp. In the top left corner next to Dale is the QR code that you can use to scan for the live event that will be in October.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
And if anybody would like a psychic surgery session with myself, I'm offering discounted rate at the moment. I'm also going to be doing psychic surgery training on the 13th and 14th of July. So if you'd like to learn psychic surgery with myself, head over to daletobin.com and all the information is there. So I'd like to say as well, thank you everyone for watching. And if you're listening in the future, please subscribe, like, and comment. We really appreciate your feedback. And thank you for tuning in to this week's show. So next week, we'll be back with a live call-in show. So we hope to see you there. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Take it easy.